Mats Wilander recently made an unexpected statement regarding Alex Eala. The young Filipino star's life could be completely changed by what he said, and the WTA community is in disbelief. This isn't just another tennis viewpoint. This statement is compelling everyone, fans, critics, and even her competitors, to reconsider Alex Eala's true identity. Additionally, the reaction was explosive. The tennis community pays attention to what Mats Wilander has to say. This isn't a retired athlete attempting to maintain their relevance. This is a former world number one, a 7-time Grand Slam champion, and one of the sport's most esteemed commentators. Willa does not take compliments lightly. He is renowned for his tactical acumen, honesty, and ability to recognize a player's potential long before others do. People stopped what they were doing and paid attention when he made a public statement regarding Alex Eala. For years, the name Alex Eala has been mentioned in tennis circles, albeit primarily in whispers. The 2022 US Open girls singles champion was a teenage sensation from the Philippines. The Rafa Nadal Academy trained the prodigy, the first Filipino to win any kind of Grand Slam singles championship. She has been referred to as Southeast Asia's long-awaited breakthrough star, future, and hope. The problem is that potential is meaningless until it is fulfilled. Additionally, the names of players who never succeeded in professional tennis are a constant reminder of the gap between promise and performance. Eala had high expectations when she turned pro. She was carrying more than just her own aspirations. She represented the aspirations of a whole country. There has never been a significant WTA star from the Philippines. The shift from juniors to the main tour is harsh, but Eala was meant to be the one to make that change. It is a cemetery for former superstars. The rivalry is more intense. The physical demands are unrelenting. The mental strain is oppressive. And for someone like Eala, who was thrust into the public eye at such a young age, every defeat is perceived as a national letdown. She has experienced moments of brilliance that serve as a reminder of why people initially had faith in her. However, she has also faced difficulties. Inconsistent outcomes, early departures, and games in which she appeared overburdened. Performances that cause people to wonder if the excitement was ever warranted. Additionally, Mats Wila's statement exploded in that particular context. Because she wasn't just complimented by Mats Wilander. He said more than just that she was gifted and had a promising future. He made a much more definitive statement that jeopardized his entire reputation. And when someone of his caliber makes such a statement, it ignites a firestorm in addition to creating buzz. However, what precisely did he say? And why did it send shockwaves across the whole WTA? It took place during a live interview at a tennis tournament in Europe. As a guest analyst, Wilander broke down the current state of women's tennis, talked about the top players, and provided his customary astute observations. Before the interviewer asked him about emerging talent, the conversation was going smoothly. At that moment, Wilander stopped, leaned forward, and said something that would be replayed for hours on end on every tennis media platform. Alex Eala will rank among the top 10 players. I'm not referring to potential. I'm not referring to the possibility. It is a fact that I am stating. She possesses everything. The work ethic, the mentality, the technique, and, above all, the champion's instinct. Having watched tennis for more than 40 years, I am aware of what makes a great player. Alex Eala is fantastic. All she needs is time. There was silence in the room. Clearly taken aback, the interviewer asked him to elaborate. Wilander refused to give up. He went twice as hard. Individuals are impatient. When they witness her losing a match, they begin to have doubts. But this girl is unique, I assure you. She makes me think of players I've watched rise through the ranks who were initially undervalued by everyone. She has the fire. She is skilled. She also possesses a talent that you cannot impart. The capacity to rise to the occasion. Take note of what I say. She will be vying for Grand Slam titles within the next 3 years. Grand Slam honors. Not just the top 10. Grand Slam titles and a strong career are not enough. Wilander had no intention of hedging. He wasn't being cautious. He was making a daring, clear prediction about a player who was still struggling to make it into the top 200 at the time. It was the kind of statement that, if it didn't materialize, could either look brilliant in retrospect or totally undermine his credibility. This is what made it even more startling. Wilander doesn't have a reputation for exaggeration. He has previously criticized elite athletes. Stars who didn't live up to his expectations have received harsh treatment from him. Because a player is young and exciting, he has never been the kind to jump on a hype train. Therefore, it meant something for him to publicly make such a statement about Alex Eala. It indicated that he thought it was true. However, reality and belief are not the same thing. And the tennis community was going to tell him exactly what they thought. Wilander's belief in it wasn't the question. Did anyone else? Was the query. The response was divided and came quickly. Wilander's statement was widely shared on social media in a matter of hours. Think pieces were being written by tennis journalists. When asked to comment, former players' opinions were wildly divergent. A few were motivated. Wanderer's remarks, in their opinion, confirmed what they had been saying all along. Supporters of Eala erupted with pride, particularly in the Philippines. At last, a credible person was expressing what they had always believed. In Manila, social media took off. 4 days, hashtags like Believe in Alex and Eala to the top were popular. Her Instagram was inundated with supportive messages from her followers. There was a sense of mobility. However, not everyone was having fun. A number of WTA insiders expressed doubts. Weller is a legend, but this is a huge claim, an anonymous coach said to a tennis publication. Top 10 Grand Slams. She hasn't even regularly placed in the top 150 yet. This kind of pressure could backfire, but I hope is correct. And that was the Curtis version. Some fans and analysts were less tactful on Twitter. Mats is going crazy. Eala is gifted, but come on, top 10. Currently, there are 20 players with greater experience and outcomes. This is the problem with legends, remarked another commentator. They disregard reality because they are enamored with a story. The attention I was suddenly receiving seemed to unnerve even some of the current players. There were rumors that some rising stars felt ignored, even though none of them spoke on the record. When there were other young players with higher rankings and more reliable outcomes, why was Wilander crowning Eala? Was the plot or the talent at play here? There were also people who chose to be in the middle. Eala's talent was acknowledged by reputable analysts like Patrick McEnroe, but caution was advised. In a podcast, McEnroe stated, "She has all the tools." However, tennis is cruel. We've witnessed players who had mental breakdowns. Pressure is increased by Wanderer's statement. See how she responds to it. Although the WTA maintained its official neutrality, there was intrigue behind closed doors. They already wanted to elevate Eala, a young, captivating player with a fascinating backstory from an underrepresented area. They had even more motivation to push Wanderer into the public eye thanks to her endorsement. Discussions about sponsorship started. Opportunities for the media emerged. Whether she was prepared or not, Alex Eala was going to become one of the tour's most talked-about performers. The problem with sudden tennis fame, though, is this. It exposes you in addition to elevating you. And the backlash had only just begun. The internet is unbeatable. Additionally, the internet did what it does best when Mats Wilander's remarks regarding Alex Eala went viral. It became a battleground. The believers were on one side. The ardent supporters of Eala turned into militants. All of her junior career's highlights were cut. They shared statistics demonstrating her progress. They contended that Wilander saw something that others did not, and that critics were being naive. A 7-time Grand Slam champion is unquestionable. If Matt says she's the real deal, she's the real deal, said one widely shared tweet. Particularly, Phil sports fans came together to support her like never before. To them, Eala was more than just a tennis player. She served as a symbol and evidence that their nation could produce elite athletes in a sport that was dominated by North America and Europe. Wilander's remarks seemed to be acknowledged on a global scale. On the biggest stage, it was validation. However, the skeptics were equally vocal. Eala's recent performance was analyzed and a thread was posted by one tennis analytics account. She's 28 in her last 10 games, let's face it. She needs to improve her service. She moves erratically on hard courts. Although Wilander is a legend, this assessment is, at best, premature. Thousands of people liked and retweeted the thread. It caused disagreements in the responses, which persisted for days. Other detractors went even farther. Some claimed that Wilander was biased because of his affiliation with the Rafa Nadal Academy, where Aya received her training. He will undoubtedly go crazy. She's part of the Nadal brand, said one commenter. This is not analysis, this is marketing. Additionally, since this is the internet and subtlety doesn't sell, there were personal attacks. Love and hate mixed together in Eala's Instagram comments. Trolls telling her she didn't deserve the attention, that she was overhyped, and that Wilander was setting her up for failure overpowered encouraging messages. It quickly became ugly. Eala, however, remained silent. She said nothing. No remarks or posts on social media about the controversy. Just concentrate and work. And everything was said by that silence. In the meantime, some of her peers started to speak out in support of the pressure she was currently under rather than against her. "People forget we're human," tweeted a young WTA player. "Imagine being 19 years old and having everyone argue over your deservingness. Allow her to play." It served as a gentle reminder that there was a teenager attempting to pursue a career behind all the attention and criticism. Willa was questioned about the response. His response was composed and assured. "I maintain my position. People are free to have doubts. I've been involved in this sport long enough to recognize talent. I'll be proven correct by Alex Eala." However, Wilander's belief was not the true question. The true question was whether Alex Eala shared this belief. In tennis, pressure is a peculiar phenomenon. It has the power to either crush you before you ever realize your potential or to shape you into something unbreakable. Now, Alex Eala was in a situation that most players never encounter. She was publicly proclaimed a future champion by one of the greatest tennis minds in history. The country was rooting for her to achieve greatness. Media outlets were following her every step, sponsors were keeping an eye on her, and detractors were waiting for her to fail. Before she had even won a WTA title, all of this had occurred. And this is the harsh reality. You are altered by this type of attention. It modifies your approach to matches. It alters your approach to dealing with losses. It alters your self-perception. Under it, some players flourish. It serves as fuel for them. Others fall apart. Instead of playing to win, they begin to play to avoid losing. They doubt themselves. With each serve, forehand, and point, they experience the burden of expectations. It would be the most anticipated tournament of Eala's career. Not because she was a top seed or because it was a Grand Slam, but rather because everyone was curious to see how she would react. Would she be able to handle the situation? Would she play with the assurance of someone who had just gotten the highest recommendation? Or would the spotlight overwhelm her and make her tense? Her team was aware of the risks. They started controlling the noise right away. The same message was repeatedly reiterated by her coach. Ignore it. Pay attention to your game. Although it is a gift, Willa's belief is not a guarantee. You still need to work for it. It's easier said than done, though, to block out the noise. Especially when people are talking about you everywhere you look. Every practice session feels like it's being observed under a microscope when your phone is overflowing with messages. There's also the mental aspect. Eala was already juggling the demands of being a national symbol. She now had the additional responsibility of fulfilling Wilander's prophecy. What if she didn't place in the top 10? What would happen if she never achieved a Grand Slam? Would she be viewed as a failure? Would those who are now applauding her later turn against her? But this is what set Eala apart from a lot of other people. She had previously been counted out. She had persevered despite her wounds. She had faced skeptics. When others said she was too small, too erratic, or too sentimental, she had risen through the juniors and consistently disproved them. Willa's words went beyond simple coercion. It was consent. Permission to have the same level of faith in herself as he did. Permission to let her racket speak for her in order to silence the critics. The world was now demanding permission to dream as big as possible. Her ability to cope with the pressure was no longer in doubt. It was unclear if she was prepared to fulfill Wilander's predictions about her. This isn't just about one player, so let's take a moment to zoom out. This relates to what Alex Eala stands for. The same areas have dominated tennis for decades. We have legends from Europe, North America, Australia, and South America. However, it has been mainly absent from the top levels of the sport in Southeast Asia. Yes, there have been flashes of players breaking barriers and making noise, but nobody.